Welcome to Remembering Smallville,
a Smallville rewatch podcast.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Brett.
So let's get into the next episode. This is Season 2, Episode 23, Exodus.
Clark must choose between remaining with Lana and his parents or fulfilling his destiny. Lex and Helen's upcoming wedding is put in jeopardy, and Chloe considers Lionel's offer to investigate Clark.
Okay, Darth Vader, fulfill your destiny.
Fulfill your destiny.
No, wait, that's Emperor Palpatine, isn't it?
Yeah, your destiny.
Yeah.
So now we officially learned the name Jor-El. We've been saying it, but now you can know it
Sorry
too.
if we spoiled Superman's father's name to you, but...
Jor-El. The ship opens and it transforms into the Earth. And at first I was like, oh, is the ship destroyed? But it's not. I thought it was like, is the ship gone now that the message was delivered?
Yes.
But no. Clark has one day to get his affairs in order before he needs to return to his father.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even cook a proper meal in one day.
Maybe on Krypton, 16 is like 25.
Maybe.
You know?
Or back in the day when they were married at 16 having babies.
Maybe Jor-El literally thinks like, let's give him the benefit of the
He's
doubt
ready.
for a second. Maybe he literally is like, he's 16. It's time for him to start doing what he should be doing. And that's why he's doing this.
Okay, it's time for a nerd moment. We're going to have a little nerd moment here.
Nerd moments.
Oh. I love that jingle. We'll keep that. Okay, so Jor-El, you'll find in other movies and in this as well, he's a very calculating, smart individual.
Yes.
That's how he works. And it's all about responsibility. It's actually one of the reasons that their planet, he's trying to save the planet Krypton, and it's his responsibility that drives him through his intelligence and what he wants to do. And that's really why these first couple of seasons, he feels so controversial and so antagonistic towards Clark, because as his biological parent and what he saved Clark for, there's a responsibility, and he expects his son to do this. Now, you're asking a teenager that was raised here on Earth to give up all of their wants to go and be responsible for everyone on Earth.
And to be responsible for a cause he doesn't know he should believe in and doesn't have any skin in the game for, at least in his mind.
Right.
Well, and he thinks he's supposed to be evil, right? Or like...
He doesn't understand the concept of ruler.
Yeah. And so he's like, I'm not doing that.
Yes, and so it feels really antagonistic. So
And his brain is translating the Kryptonite language into English. So maybe the word ruler in Kryptonian means a lot more to a Kryptonian than it does to an English-speaking American. There's that context, and there's all this stuff that could be going on.
And so I stand on this that I understand he comes across as antagonistic, but it's that he wants Clark to be responsible and start taking on his role. So he's like, if you come with me, I will prepare you. Now, that means everything else in your life goes away, which is not what any person would want, especially a teenager, to just give up on everything they love and care about. It does come across as antagonistic, but the reason why in a couple seasons it will feel like he's there and supporting him is because Clark matures to a point where he realizes this is something he can do, but he has to grow in that. And so it does come across as, why is he always fighting me?
Because at 16, your parents are
I
always
agree with you.
I'm not saying he does it the right way. I'm just saying
No,
from a very
right.
calculating parent, that's what you're getting.
I think one of two things is happening here. One, either the show runners and like the writers and the people actually producing the end result of the show are misrepresenting what their intention is with Jor-El, or they're really doing a good job at keeping us in Clark's perspective of the teenager being kind of suppressed by a caring parent who's strict.
I thought of the perfect connection to help us figure out how this is. Have you seen Princess Diaries?
Yeah.
It's just like that. You're a princess. That's good. And she's like, I don't want to be a princess.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I don't want
I
to do
just
all
barely
these
got
things.
braces.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
I'm still waiting for more body parts to arrive.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's like that because like in that
tale is all this
movie, the
time.
queen is like, no, this is a great opportunity. You're going to be able to lead a whole people and govern a nation. And she's like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I just want to rock climb and paint with my mother.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the end, she's like super excited to be the queen, and she gets to be the queen, and she's happy about
Yeah,
it.
they have to grow
But
into it.
Princess Diaries doesn't make Julie Andrews, whatever her name is, Queen of Genovia,
Well, it's
super
Julie
antagonistic.
Andrews. You can't.
I know.
At first she is.
Well, at the beginning, she is.
Here's the thing. She doesn't brand her daughter.
True.
Accurate.
There's a few things I could list that haven't happened yet that you're going to be like, I would never do that to my kid, no matter what the responsibility. So there's just things that I feel like the showrunners...
It's not a perfect correlation. It was just
Also,
close one.
his father
Yes.
is not there physically.
Right. It's all pre-programmed stuff.
Yeah, he's literally
AI?
imprinted, like an imprinted intelligence on crystals, right?
So let's remember that he can't feel what Kal-El is feeling, and he can't change what he said.
He's doing what
according to
he's
his
programmed
feelings.
to do.
Yeah.
To the point of branding, to the point of some of the things Daniel's mentioned that you'll see in the future, remember that it's a system, and it's a system that recognizes that Clark will have powers that could destroy the Earth if he wants to. So there has to be a check there, and it's only what the system or what programming.
You know what? That
can be
makes
in place for that.
perfect sense. Because what if Clark got picked up by somebody?
Like LL. Lionel Luthor.
LL.
If Lionel had found Clark, I think that Jor-El would have hoped Clark goes to a good family and is raised by good people. But what if he isn't? So that just popped into my head as you said that. So maybe there are some things programmed into this Jor-El construct.
There's like an if-then system set up in
Kind
the
of
programming.
like, just in case Clark is being raised by crazy evil people, I need to take him away from that if he seems resistant. He's resistant because he doesn't
He
understand.
misinterprets.
Sure. So I think maybe we've talked ourselves around into a place where it's a little better.
This nerd moment was brought to you by Princess Diaries.
Genovia.
And of course, I am suffering a bit from post-season 7 syndrome.
Yes.
Where the show's just very different, so it's hard for me
Well, we're still in
sometimes.
season 2 land, so let's keep talking about it.
For only one more episode.
So Jor-El then informs Clark that he knows his thoughts are not a mystery, shows his parents and Lana, and tells him, as Nicole mentioned, to get your stuff in order and get back here. We've got work to do.
This is Clark's fear from the beginning, right?
Yes.
Is that he is
would be
going
alone.
to... Yep.
Remember when that blind lady told him that he'd be alone and it was just
Yes.
graves and he was like, I don't want to be alone.
So now he touches his loved ones. They like crinkle into thin air. And he's like, crap, I thought I had a whole lifetime and then be alone, but I got to be alone now. And that's terrifying.
It's like his biggest fear.
Yes.
It's like the last thing he wanted to have happen has happened. And so he's 100% resistant to it happening. He doesn't sleep at all. It's the next morning.
And who makes good decisions on no sleep? No one.
Yeah. Clark tells his parents, and Martha says that it's his dad's hopes and dreams, not yours. Clark says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to listen to my dad. And I think in that moment he believes it. But give us 40 minutes and that's going to change.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Disney original movies, the Disney Channel ones, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yes.
like, but Dad, I don't want to play basketball. I want to make crafts. And Dad's like, you've got 10 recruiters coming to this next game. You can do both. You know
Why
what?
is that ever talked about?
Like you know what you can do? You can keep doing that craft, and you can
And-
also get all of your college paid for by playing some basketball. Come on,
Then
dude.
you'll be rich. And then you can craft all you want.
Exactly, right? So that's what this kind of reminds me of. Like, this is the father's dream. And
Why can't there be both? That is so true. Oh my gosh.
like, I kind of wish that Jor-El could have appeared to him as a person and
Yeah.
not as like just a voice. It would have made a huge difference for Clark.
Does he appear to him in the future in body form-ish?
He does in the movies at the very least. So
Yeah.
if we, so
Guess you'll see.
yeah.
You're not going to tell me? Fine.
So our next scene, Lex is holding the vial of blood. Nicole, tell me
There's
about
like
it.
a red light on him, the creepy red light.
Always.
Yeah.
The lighting in this show is so intentional.
I like that.
Lionel comes to deliver a wedding gift. It doesn't really go over well. Helen's like, I don't want your stupid gift. That's about all you need to know there. But then Lex decides to come clean to Helen. He does it in the best way I think he could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering all the circumstances. Yeah.
But Helen is like, yeah, and that's enough for me. And she leaves.
Which
Which I think is valid.
fair.
And I
Yep.
think she should have stayed away. Then Clark and Lana are cuddling after a horse ride near a tree, kind of kissing. It's kind of cute.
Do you think it's the same spot he always goes to when he goes to talk to her? It's just
don't
a
know.
tree over there.
so he picked it well.
he had already had a picnic set up, and then she wrote, "Oh,
I've been imagining this for years.
And in the end, they decide we have to tell Chloe. And Clark says, I'll do it. Which is foolish because Lana lives with Chloe. They're together way more often.
But I think it should have come from Clark.
Yes.
And I love how just easily they fall into their relationship. I thought it was cute. I thought they did a good job.
Well, they've been in a relationship
Forever.
but without all the fun stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
You know
So
who
now they're
falls
like,
into
just
the
fun
relationship
stuff.
even better? Clark and Kyla, and Clark and Alicia, and wait,
Daniel, shut up.
What? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay.
Listen, I just think if they were with you guys, who tells her? You could make an argument either way. They're together right now. Go tell Chloe, or heaven forbid, even just pick up the phone and call her together.
No.
I
You
think
don't-
it should be-
you don't use
I think it
cell
should
phones in
I
these
think It
shows.
should be in person.
No, you don't tell them together.
No?
No.
That's
Then-
too much pressure.
No, you tell
Then
her.
you're outnumbered.
You text Chloe. You say, "Hey, give me a call," and then you record one of those voicemails where it's like, "Hey, you've reached Clark and Lana."
We're too busy kissing. Leave a message.
that bad.
You let it go to voicemail when Chloe calls.
That's terrible. No, I thought they did it well. I think that Clark and Chloe are best friends, and I think he should have been the one to tell.
They haven't talked in forever.
I know.
Whatever.
Here's my problem. He should have sat her down ages ago and been like, Chloe, it's never going to happen. I love you as a best friend. You need to move on.
Unless he is a dumb teenage boy who
And
doesn't
he's just
actually
stringing
think
her
that.
along.
Wants
Maybe
to keep her in a back pocket.
Ooh.
No, I just don't think he cares about her that much.
I think that he doesn't want to close that door all the way. I think that there are some feelings there a little bit, but he also is a teenage boy and he's not going to think about that.
True.
I never did when I was a teenage boy. I was a dum-dum.
But he has to go be the ruler of the world.
Yeah, I guess so. He's not ready to be a ruler because he's got a girl in his back pocket.
Then we're back at the mansion. Lex and Clark are chatting.
Lex tells him they're not walking down the aisle.
He says,
tomorrow.
the wedding's off, but I'm not telling people yet. I kind of want to just live in this, pretend like it's still happening for another 20 hours or something.
Do you feel like Clark was like, yeah, that's a pretty normal Luther thing?
Yeah.
And
Do you think he was surprised
He's like,
at
I mean,
all?
you were already married once this year. I don't know.
well,
Exactly.
It's a parallel story that they're both living and pretending that what
Right.
they're in right now is what will be going forward.
Right, like I can just live
and
in
in
this
24
moment of
hours
okayness.
something can change. So they're both like,
Ooh.
I'm just pretending like everything's okay for the next 24 hours.
That's true. It's like literally Lex is saying Clark's feelings right now.
so true.
But in this conversation, Lex tells Clark, yeah, my dad has the caves now, and he's doing a crap ton of work on it, which piques Clark's interest. And so then, of course, he goes down to the caves again, and he sees Lionel down there again.
And he meets a new object.
The solid kryptonite key.
Oh my god.
What did you think of that when you saw it?
I was
Kim?
like, what? I don't even know. I've always thought he's so messed up.
He did a lot of work in that cave in an afternoon.
That's how I feel. I think I was so
Because
surprised.
Clark was down there, yesterday?
yeah, and it wasn't there.
None of that equipment was
I want
down
you to-
there.
And the fact that
He's a really good project manager.
at 11 minutes and 36 seconds, you'll see there's like cement stands for all this equipment. You can't carry that cement stand in there.
No, they made it down
They
there.
had to
make
build it.
But how fast does that cement dry? You know what I'm saying?
It's quick set.
Like this is it. This is like impressive work that they
It's
did.
Lionel Cement, TM. It's the best.
TM.
I'll tell you, the only thing that came to my mind is evil key. Evil key.
Yes.
Evil key, the evil darkness.
And Clark's like, oh, my insides are broken. when he
Because
sees
that's
it.
some
It's refined. It's
very
pure.
pure kryptonite.
And I was like, don't show him your weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't
And
afford
Lionel says
that.
he's going to unlock the secrets. Because
Yeah.
it's the key.
List of dark ways to kill Clark. Force him a kryptonite pill. No.
So gross.
And then we have the stupidest scene where Lana and Chloe are hanging out, getting ready for things. And Lana told Clark, yeah, you can tell her. So she's just
Trying
playing the friends card still. Like, yeah, we're just friends. We made out for 2 hours today. We're just friends. Which is the worst.
I know.
Oh, I hate
know.
it.
I feel bad for everyone.
Friends can make out when you're in high school. You know what they call it? Non-committal makeout.
A Nickmo.
Friends with benefits.
You should see the expression on Kim and Mai's face with that. Both of us were just like, ugh.
Sundown is approaching.
Look at this fake green screen. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it could be
It's
worse.
at 14 minutes and 59 seconds.
Here's the thing. technically, the more light you apply to a digital effect, the better it looks.
Really?
Yes.
So I just want you to notice something. Pause right here, Brett. Look at this lighting in this conversation. Does it remind you of anything?
This is at 15 minutes and 13 seconds.
When have we had Jonathan and Clark in this lighting, in this exact spot, at this exact time of day?
I don't remember.
Season 1, episode 1.
Oh, really? How would you even remember that?
Because we're podcasting about this series.
Did you guys remember
copious
this?
notes.
Nope, I did not
Okay,
remember this.
3 out
Okay.
of 4. Don't remember.
The last time they did this was when...
Jonathan was telling Clark he's an alien.
Yeah.
Where he comes from.
Okay, I do remember.
So it's kind of a bit of a full circle.
Oh,
in a way.
that's-
A strange way.
In a strange way, yeah. Oh.
Leave it to Nicole to come up with those details, right?
So they're having
Yes.
this. It's a very end of the season 2. Clark knows he's an alien. He knows what planet he's from. He knows his dad's name. He knows he's supposed to go and start his alien destiny.
And he has no idea what that is.
And it's kind of cool the way that both Jonathan and Clark look off into the sunset for a moment. It's like they're preparing for battle in a way.
That's how I got that feeling
It's
too.
like they're on the eve of
It's
battle.
It's the hush before the storm.
Yeah, they're stoically preparing for whatever is supposed to come. They can't even imagine it because they have no idea the capabilities that Jor-El might have that could control Clark enough to demand that he comes to him, right?
Then, as soon as Jonathan leaves, he hears, Kal-El, come to me. It's time. Or whatever.
Oh, man.
And so Clark goes into the storm cellar.
Because why not?
Because you couldn't possibly ignore it.
Yeah, he'll probably get the chewing ice cube light beams in his head if he doesn't.
Yeah. So
Nobody wants that.
So his dad's like, let's go. And he's like, I decided not to do my destiny. And Clark gets a big time punishment.
It was painful to watch. He gets his Superman S carved, burned?
Well, it's more like a Superman
8.
8. Oh, that's
It's
true.
the symbol of
It's an 8.
of the L family.
That's his last name.
So is the symbol an 8?
It's like
It's a
the
shield with, like, an 8
it's
in
like
it.
It's like 2 circles, like a small circle and a big circle.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't just do the S.
It represents L.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's his last name.
Because the S one
I knew it
is
looked different.
hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love. Oh, you'll learn something.
That's-
every
They
day.
actually talk about that in they really call it out more specifically in Man of Steel.
Okay.
Lois Lane asks Superman, what's the S for? He's like, actually, in my planet, it's not an S. It means hope.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
So-
Okay.
Yep. His dad says, this is the mark of your ancestors.
So I thought they did great with the makeup. His skin is all bubbled and red.
Branded.
It was disgusting. Yeah.
So there's a quote that happens in a later episode where I have living in my head rent free. Every single time I see this little Shield 8, I think of this quote. Whoa, man, what happened? I have an abusive father. That's Clark Kent saying that. So just a little teaser for a future episode.
This is the first active
Really?
abuse. Keep it in mind.
I
for
don't
your
know
trauma
why
tracker.
that is so ingrained in my head, but it really is. Like every single time I think of this, that little scene plays in my
And
head.
that's something that happens in the future that he says.
Yes.
Okay.
It sure is.
I'm excited.
I think in like next episode, one after that, whatever.
It's the next morning. Jonathan and Martha are getting ready for the wedding.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, hey, your destiny hasn't started yet. So I guess you're good to go. And Clark's like, uh-huh. I'm fine.
Again, another problem that he caused by lying to his parents.
If he had just been like, nope, take a look at this. And
Yeah.
like ripped his shirt open, it would have been a treat for us. It would have been,
Helpful for the parents?
yeah. What a shame.
What a shame.
And essentially, Clark's like, I'm not coming to the wedding just yet. I gotta go pick up Lana. Martha's like, yeah, you got a girlfriend. I help with that. Probably.
Gotta get used to you having a girlfriend.
So our next scene,
This
Helen
scene was
comes
so
back.
cringy to me.
Yes.
Helen comes
I didn't
back
know
to
what
life.
she was thinking because up until this point, I respected her and I was like, oh, this is how it ends.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, I guess.
I guess. So when she came back and was like, we can do this, I was like,
Why?
yeah, it was a little weird to me.
Well, you could imagine that maybe she decides that Lex is worth going through a hardship like this with.
Not me.
No. I feel like Helen is one of those type that's like, you've done this too much. Like this is you've
No, I agree.
crossed the line.
I feel like that she's trying to make it seem like that. And
Yeah.
maybe they didn't want her to be that convincing to the audience.
Maybe.
Maybe they wanted you to suspect that she's up to something.
Yeah.
Because she'd be
Which
up to something.
I did not know, you guys. Like this killed me. I was like, whoa.
Well, We don't know anything yet.
We'll find out.
Well, hopefully the listeners have watched these episodes prior to listening.
But
So,
you still don't know anything. We don't know anything. At the end of season 2, we know nothing about Helen.
well, you know
know
that
nothing,
she's
no.
not around.
That doesn't mean anything.
True.
I guess so.
Helen decides, let's do the wedding. We think it's foolish here at Remembering Smallville podcast. She's on board, though. And Lex is like, yippee.
But something I do like is that in the next scene, Clark actually shows the whole thing and tells the whole thing to Pete. So at least he's confiding in somebody.
Somebody.
So that
Yeah, but again, and this is where I call a crappy friend on Clark, is he's showing him, but he's also using Pete.
You
He's
want to
like,
maybe get arrested again? I know you're still doing probation from the
This is-
carjacking thing.
so true. Like he has
Your
to.
mom's a lawyer. You'll be fine.
Maybe that's why he's fine.
Because
His mom's a lawyer.
No, his mom's a judge and his dad's a lawyer.
Oh yeah,
That's
If-
right.
like-
That's why he can do all these criminal activities.
Judges can literally do anything, and there is pretty
It's
much
so
no
true.
consequences. It's
Really?
oh yeah.
I watch a lot of LawTube, like where it's like court and stuff, and some judges get black robe syndrome, and they are kings.
Wow.
They are awful
Because the
people.
only way to get rid of them is to make an appeal.
they have to
and-
get voted out.
Out, yeah.
And no one cares and knows who the judges are, so they just stay and stay and stay.
So maybe that's why he can get out of all these things. His mom's a judge. Because the worst thing is a judge in a small town where there is like,
There's one judge in the whole county.
Yeah.
That's it. And what he says goes.
and you have to make an appeal to somebody in a city
And it takes like
200
a
miles
year.
away.
It takes like a
that
full
doesn't
year.
know
so
the
you're
judge,
just
doesn't
stuck.
care about anything that is going on in your town. So maybe Miss Ross, Judge Ross, is a
good one.
a good one, but
Slash-
also takes care of her son.
I mean,
Maybe.
we'll break the law for family.
Maybe.
Nobody
Clark-
ever does that in America.
So Clark and Pete devise a plan. Pete goes down into the cave and is like, yo, Luther, I hate you. Lionel's like, I love confrontation. Let me talk to the boy. And so they chat about the cream corn factory, blah, blah, blah. And the whole point of this is so that Clark can do a quick sneaky run, take the key, which is in a lead case.
And Lionel's like, the best time to face your enemy is when he's angry. It's like, okay, Lionel.
And when the key disappears, Pete's like being escorted out, and Lionel's like, "Where's the key? No!"
Yeah, he really
Like,
literally
what a
does
villain
that.
scream.
No! It's like so funny.
And then Pete gets to say, "You don't want to seem too angry, Mr. Luther." Like, so dumb.
Can you do that again?
Don't want to be too angry, Mr. Luther.
All right, next time they remake Smallville, Nicole needs to play Pete Ross.
Yep.
Aren't they doing an animated version? I can do the voices.
There you go. When I hear you talk, I hear Pete Ross.
Though
Yes.
we did learn in the last episode, Nicole, that you just have one voice, and it's a soprano voice.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, she doesn't use all these voices you often hear in the podcast when she's reading to me. It's so funny.
Then we're at the church. The wedding's going to begin soon. Clark isn't there yet, but this moment is so cute. Jonathan and Martha are chatting with Lex before the wedding because they're his stand-in parents. And Jonathan gives Lex a compass
Yes.
so that he
This was
doesn't
a
get
huge-
lost walking down the aisle.
It's a Kent family tradition.
What a
He just
huge
like
step for
officially
him.
named him like you're part of the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and this compass is very important for next episode.
Yes, it is. It's important for the Kents
Yeah.
in future episodes as well.
Oh.
Then we're back to the barn. Clark hasn't even bothered to tell anyone to like go ahead. He hasn't bothered to like even pretend like he's getting
Text
ready to
Lana.
go to the
we
wedding.
know that you have pagers, maybe. So give her a call. One of our cows heard a hoof. I gotta do some stuff. Head to the wedding, Lana. I'll meet you there. Like, come on.
Do something else. A cow is super sick. The ox is in the mire. Say something. Not, I have to do something important and I can't tell you what it is.
Yes.
But it's for us in our future. And I'm like, "Bleh."
Okay, this is back to Twilight references. This is that cringe. You're like, no, it's not. You don't have a future yet.
You just started dating like yesterday.
You should know by now that you're destined to be with Lois Lane, you dum-dum.
We all know it.
Yeah, why don't you see it?
Okay, but Smallville Virgin, how is the acting here? Were you buying all of their frustration and angst?
Yeah, I thought they did really well.
Okay.
It was a little cringy, but I thought Lana acted well. The kiss was weird.
Oh, she's just hungry for them even when she's a little frustrated, so.
She hasn't kissed anybody all year. Except for that duplicate kid.
She's finding dudes, okay? She's finding strays. 'Kay.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't like the scene because I was like, oh.
Well, and you know it's not going to end well, so you're just like, it's not going to go
Well,
well.
it's again, Clark is blowing off what matters to his friends and family most to what matters most to him.
And I'm over his lies, and I'm over Lana being like, you have lies.
Yeah, just wait. You get like 2 more seasons of that. There's a reason why Brett and I are just like, oh, Lana Lane, you can't be written off soon enough.
Lana
Like
Lang
I said, Lang.
said Lane.
Whatever.
Daniel doesn't even know his own television show.
Alliteration named female in the story.
Leave, please.
Yeah.
But the
like-
only thing of note that you need to know is while they're having this moment, Chloe comes up, even though she should know that everyone's supposed to be at the wedding, comes to the barn and sees them kissing and is like, I'm betrayed. And
I knew
Because
it.
through all this day, Clark has not found a couple minutes to tell Chloe. We don't blame him. Like,
Okay,
That's a lot
but
on his mind.
and I'm not gonna defend them at all because they should have told her. But honestly, just seeing someone kissing, seeing them kissing, does not mean that they're together. It could mean they just had this moment and then they're gonna go tell her.
seriously.
exactly.
So, like,
Maybe
that's like-
it did in 2001.
Well,
maybe they just kiss every Thursday at 4 p.m.
no, I'm just saying that like just the fact of Chloe seeing them doesn't mean that they betrayed her there.
But
It
jumping
could
to
mean that
conclusions is a great,
yeah.
you know, when you assume.
What is it?
The great Lorelai Gilmore says, you know what they say about assuming things? And then her mother says, what?
That you shouldn't.
yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's actually a really good Lorelai quote. Anyway, why are we talking about Gilmore Girls? I'm married to
It's a great show.
You're married to me, and that's all I have.
Do you know
Okay.
what Bryn said about Gilmore Girls the other day? She goes, they're so messed up.
Nicole's
I know.
brother calls the show Lorelai Ruins Everything.
Oh, it's true.
He's very selfish. We could
I
do a
saw this-
podcast on that, though.
Saw this thread the other day that Emily Gilmore was actually who is the hero of the story and everyone else is the worst, and that Rory is actually the villain of the show.
That's so true.
Well, considering that I hate Rory for the entire show, yeah. They finally decided to do Chloe's hair well in this episode.
Yes.
After a whole season of it being garbage.
It's because she has fury hair,
Yeah.
betrayal hair,
Which is the
rage
best hair.
Just going
Well,
with Lionel hair.
It's not even at its best yet. A little bit later.
better.
It's way better. I was like, ooh.
They have a confrontation, and Clark's like, you know what? I can't deal with this right now. Chloe leaves. Meanwhile, Lana has arrived at the wedding and tells Jonathan and Martha, Clark's not coming. He said he had something important to do. And they're like, oh, shoot.
And they
so
leave.
they get in the car and
I feel
book
so
it
bad
on
for
over.
Lex at this moment.
And so Lex is like, okay, I'll do this by myself, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a sham wedding anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Hey,
Well, no, just
now-
because they shouldn't be getting married because they're not in a good place for that activity.
No.
That's true.
No, so then you get another flashback to the first episode of the series. Jonathan and Martha driving in the truck,
Yes.
heading home when something's about to happen with this dang spaceship.
Yep. Clark opens the somehow lead box. He just like crushes it. His hand, did you like his hand effect? How it was just like his veins were just like solid black green.
Like I was like, it's the evil key. I knew it. It's so
Okay, but I want to note something here. Are both hands green? Look at his other hand.
Oh, it's just
perfectly
the one
normal.
touching.
Well,
yeah.
I guess the touching is worse. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, he gets the key, puts it in the ship, and the ship is like, F me. And it's like all bubbly and corrosive, and it starts to float. And I'm sure it can't feel good to Clark. Look at that green glow on everything.
I know, and he seems to be fine. Look at his face. He's like, oh,
Yeah, he appears kind of fine, more like dazed.
yeah.
But you'd think he'd be like, this hurts me too.
This was crazy to me. I was like, wow, would the key really destroy it? Like, I had so many questions. And then it just disappears and blows up.
Well,
Yeah.
like implodes and
it
then
implodes
explodes.
and then explodes. Yeah.
Yes.
And Jonathan and Martha, again, in the truck, flip over and crash down into the side.
So many rolls.
So the first time the ship made a crater in the ground, it gave them a baby.
Daniel.
Sorry, that's maybe a little too dark.
But I loved it.
What was going on in my mind was I knew she was going to lose the baby. And I was
Right?
like, oh, that's how. Well, I knew he didn't have a brother.
Kim kept bringing it up. What's going to happen? How is there going to be a baby in this? There's no way.
Yeah.
And to have it end this way, how did you feel about this?
I was like, no.
Sucks.
And I'm like, you just destroyed the only thing. Well, he has the caves, but I felt like that was really the only thing that came with him from his home.
I know.
And there's something about it too where when I think back through these seasons, like before we started rewatching for our podcast, I remember pretty much every opener of each season and like what happens for the most part. But I had not watched the end of season 2 in such a long time that I had always forgotten why Clark runs off with kryptonite.
And so now you're like, oh.
And then this episode reminds me, oh my gosh, I get it. I actually, they actually gave him one of the better reasons to run off that you
Killed
could
his
give
brother?
him.
And it was his fault. Like,
It is his fault.
Everything's like all the things that happen here.
And Jor-El was right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So at minute 31, he does not have his Super 8 ball on his chest.
They must have, for the dirt makeup, they forgot to put the
They're
eight.
like, we've got too much going on. Don't even do it. It blows my mind because let's say this is not Smallville, it's just real world type stuff. What would make it do that? What excuse can you give? The only thing I can think of
We
is
accidentally
meth
stored fertilizer next to something and it blew up.
Considering they just had their gasoline tank explode.
I guess they could.
Maybe. Like all the pipes are broken.
I have
And
no
kind of
idea.
intermittently here, we're kind of jumping back and forth between the explosions and Lex and Helen getting on the plane and kind of getting ready to go on their honeymoon.
They toast, and that's that for that.
Yeah.
Did you suspect anything weird when they did the toast and they put so much emphasis on camera on the glasses getting into their hands, going to their lips, and then being put,
Yeah. Okay.
did that make you feel like, there's something sketchy in the glasses?
It made
or
me
something?
pause for sure.
Okay.
I was like, why are they being so fake? I felt like it was a very forced, like we're on our honeymoon, like let's be.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? And so that's all. I didn't know anything, but that's what I thought.
Then we cut to the hospital. Jonathan seems perfectly fine standing in the hallway. Martha's being examined. The doctor comes out, says Martha's fine, a little bit of a concussion. But what else is new? Everybody here has them.
But big but.
But the baby, she says, I'm sorry, and walks away. You can't do that.
You're like, wait, what?
Doctors
What?
have to, if someone is dead and the doctor has to tell you, they have to say, I'm sorry, like they have
baby
died.
did not
you have to
survive.
say died or dead because you can't give the person like
Half
false hope. You have to
info.
just be direct so they have it in their mind like, no, they said those words. So that bothered me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go well. Jonathan's pissed and Clark's like, I didn't have a choice. And Jonathan is always like, you always have a choice. My baby's dead.
I know. Do you think if he would have looped his parents more into the decision,
I think things would have happened differently.
100%.
How different? I don't know what.
Well, they would have said, Clark, we'll be there for you.
Yeah. How about you go and talk to him and instead of running away?
let's all go together to Jor-El and
I mean,
talk to him.
they would have died in the storm cellar, but
Well, but then
No, not the storm cellar. Go to the cave because Jor-El wants him to go to the cave.
right. And couldn't he have tried it out? Tried his training out?
and been like, just
And
so
been
you
like-
know, on Earth right now, I'm a child.
Yeah, go
This is not a normal. I'm not
verbally
a normal
fight
age.
for your
Yeah.
position. Say,
Yes.
look, birth father.
Yeah. He almost took the easy way out, which turned out to be not the easy way out.
So Jonathan says, your actions have consequences, Clark.
Yes, and he's tried to teach that to Clark, that especially, this is that with great power comes great responsibility thing, right? The more powerful you are as a person, the bigger your consequences are for whatever you do. So, and that goes both ways, good and bad. This is a teaching moment for Clark. For sure.
Yes.
And he does not respond to it well. He decides to go get drugs, essentially.
Well, and Lana comes and sees him standing in the
Oh,
pit.
his acting was so good. The storm cellar's completely broken. Stairs are perfectly fine though, and walks down the stairs. And and Clark is in shock, and I love it. This acting moment's so good, and he's like, my mom lost the baby, and I want to be like, what is his excuse for this? It's all my fault, Lana. You don't know anything about me. If you knew anything about me, you'd be, shocked. It's like,
Well, but it is very real to me.
I mean, what is his past? He's like, my past. Clark's a drug dealer. Clark makes drugs.
He makes bombs.
Yes,
Yes.
he is an arsonist.
I've been selling drugs
He's
since
been
I
a
was
criminal
10
this
years
whole
old.
time. Like the only excuse for this explosion is that he's a criminal.
Yes.
And does illegal things.
Yes.
And all his excuses allude to that as well, that he's bad and evil.
Yeah.
And
'Cause he
Lana's
thinks
like,
he
it'll be
is.
fine.
Well, and that's how he feels, which is very valid. You can misinterpret it as Lana, but everything he's saying is what he truly feels.
Yes.
Our next scene is Chloe going back to Lionel and taking back all of her awesome friendshipness and saying, I'll give you what you want. You give me my column.
Is this the good hair, Daniel?
Yeah, like suddenly she has good hair. I'm like, oh, there
I
you
wouldn't
go.
call
Yes.
it good.
I like it.
So this surprised me, and I kind of was pissed off. Okay. Chloe's a good human, I think. Okay. So she did not want to expose Clark because she's a good person. Right. So because she got let down by Clark, she's going to not be a good person.
She's also 16 years old, and this is a
And it's true.
WB drama.
Yeah.
True.
So,
and
It's almost soap opera-esque.
yes, yes. So I was like, okay, but you are immature and you need a storyline.
It's like
And she
a s-
can also be thinking, okay, I'll give him the stupidest stuff.
It's another
That's true,
reason
too.
why I prefer later seasons is the characters
They grow up.
they don't make as dumb of choices. The problems they deal with are less about I made a stupid choice and now there's drama, and more about there's this huge calamity that now is causing drama, right? Or there's this big problem where somebody's had some body switch and that's causing drama. You know, it's crap like that. It's more supernatural causing the drama than it is where most of the drama in here. I don't know. Would you agree, Brett, that it's their own stupid choices?
It is. So Clark goes back to the torch, starts tearing through the office looking
why
for
does he
something.
do this?
Peeta says, "What are you doing? What are you looking for? I want to help. I know everything's going crazy." And he ends up finding that good old-fashioned class ring that has red kryptonite on it.
Well, he's made a decision, and one of the big reasons what triggers him to officially make a decision is he goes back to the hospital after chatting with Lana, and his parents are just holding each other, and Martha is sobbing. And Clark's like, I killed my mom's kid, the only kid she was ever going to have. I'm terrible. I'm horrible. I can't even, I can't be around. I'm done.
I can't even fathom a 16-year-old taking on that kind of guilt. Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
And he doesn't know how to handle it. So like Brett said, he goes and gets a red K ring. Red K, take the pain away.
It's true.
Did you make that up? I loved
It's
it.
in my notes.
And that's how he explains it. He's like, I don't have to feel anything.
Yeah.
If
It's
he
like
tries to
when-
stop him, it does not work.
It's like when Jacob turns into a wolf.
Oh my gosh.
He can wolf out and he doesn't have to feel.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to that book yet. I've begged her. I was like, can we skip book 2?
Book 2
No,
is better.
it's great.
It's a good book.
I don't care about Bella wanting to kill herself.
It'll
anyway.
be great.
No.
Yes.
She doesn't want to kill herself ever.
So
She just wants some
So-
adrenaline.
I always have this image of Clark in my head with the red K driving off on his motorcycle too.
And I'm like, whose motorcycle? Is it his? Is it
It's his dad's, remember?
Oh,
It's
okay.
just so.
It's
It's
this
the same motorcycle from the Red K episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's made
okay.
a few appearances.
He only
and-
uses it when he's on Red K.
yeah, apparently.
But I like that in this moment he's wearing like a white shirt because he hasn't
Yes.
officially switched yet. He's like neutral and like sad. But I didn't talk about this, but Chloe's wearing all black
Yeah.
when she's having her mom with Lionel. Anyway, Lana shows up. What an afternoon they've had. She went to a wedding. She's been back to that farm like twice. She's changed clothes.
I love you more than you'll ever know.
And she finally tells him she loves him. That was faster than Twilight.
I'm like, now you're telling him
No,
now.
she's been in love with him for like a year.
Fine.
So ring goes back on because it was off in his pocket.
Eyes flash red. I kind of love how his eyes flash
And
red.
then he says, hop on, come with me.
Because he immediately feels better and all of his inhibitions are gone and he's no longer thinking about how it will affect Lana.
And she's like, yeah, no. Let's not. But you know what? Where's her guardian living right now?
In Metropolis.
Why the freak did she go there?
Well,
I just thought of that.
She could
I
be
also
with
find
Clark
it interesting.
and her aunt.
I know.
if you look at Clark's expressions in this little exchange. The difference between the pained look in him versus when he puts on the ring, and then his reaction to her not wanting to go is bewilderment. Like, why don't you want to go with me? Jeez. And then he kind of shakes his head, his eyes go wide. He's completely no longer feeling pain.
Yeah,
and a really good acting part on Tom Welling's side here.
Yeah.
And he drives off into the sunset
And
with those terrible sunglasses from the early 2000s.
We cut over to Lex alone in a plane.
You guys, I was like, what?
Helen is gone. The pilot is gone. Chaos. And the plane flies straight into water.
Yeah.
With him standing.
End of season.
And I knew Lex was not dead, right? But I was like, what? And I'm like, why? Like, why are all the wires just like
they ripped out the panels or something.
So that, because Lex has a pilot's license. All rich people have pilot's licenses.
Okay, that makes sense.
And as Clark is the last scene of the whole season,
He looks like a Matrix with those
yes, he's got his sunglasses on. He's got his motorcycle. He's driving toward the skyline of Metropolis, and you hear Jor-El's voice say, "You will obey me, Kal-El."
You will
And
obey
that's
me.
what the people of 2002
They had to wait a
wait
whole year.
like 9 months probably, or however long before the next season came out. Oh my gosh.
Now, dear listeners, if you wish for us to continue, then you need to let us know how excited you are to get into season 3 and see what happens next.
So we need to do a quick Superman for
Yeah.
these two episodes.
I think it's super because it's really, really raised the stakes. Big consequences, big things are happening. This is a much larger finale to me than the previous season. And I feel like each season finale of the show kind of progressively increases and raises the stakes for the most part in different ways. And this is a really good job of that. And I'm going to give it a super. I need the 2 episodes combined.
Well, yeah.
I think I wanted so badly to press play on season 3, episode 1, but I withheld doing so.
Kim.
This was so fun for me. I felt like these 2 episodes were so meaty compared to other seasons. And so I got so excited. I was like, I am so excited to continue. I think a super.
Will you tell us what you reported to us after you finished watching this episode?
I went right into the next.
She could not wait.
I watched like 3 in a row. I was like, what?
Well, I get it. And because my sister and her husband started listening to this show because of our podcast, and they have now finished
I'm so
the
jealous.
entire 10 seasons of the show. And they started watching when we started this podcast, like episode 2, they started watching Smallville. They got hooked and they've been binging it ever since then.
Oh, beautiful.
So
It's like a season a month.
like if you aren't in that mode by the end of this episode this season to like binge it, I'm surprised.
Yeah, definitely super. It's bringing more and more storyline into it. Not just, oh, there's a super save, which is what we were really categorizing a lot of our supers off of. We're now getting into some more meat of why Clark Kent is going to become Superman and how he does that. And so these, like Daniel mentioned, stakes are raised. It's getting bigger, more impactful. It's not just high school problems at this point. There is more to it. I love bringing in Krypton. We now know what that is. We know where he's from. We know his dad. We know he's got responsibilities and expectations. So I think it's fun. And yeah, two episodes. You need to watch both of them. Definitely a super on my part.
I really liked it. I like how there's no random one-off character. Every single person in that last episode is a series regular.
Well, and they mattered. Their
Yeah.
parts and contributions to the episode matter. They're not just being a series regular. They're actually doing impactful things to the plot.
The only person whose story didn't do anything was Pete. Pete this whole season was just like, I went to school,
And broke some laws.
but I got my mom to get me out of it. Like
Yeah.
Clearly.
So he had this chillest season of all. The biggest thing that happened to him was he broke his arm.
Yeah. Well, he did find out about Clark and had to deal with that
Yeah,
this
I
season.
guess.
Can you believe that was this season? It feels like a long time
Oh
ago.
my
Yeah.
gosh. The only thing running through my mind is he's driving off into the sunset on his motorcycle. And I'm like, you're 16. Like, where are you going to get the money to live?
Oh, and
We'll
you will
see.
see exactly how he can get money to live. On that fun note, It is time to end season 2.
Woohoo! We'll see you guys for season 3.
Bye.
Bye. If you're here, you probably like Smallville. So show Smallville some love and click that like button. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Remembering Smallville so that you can remember it and stop forgetting about all of these wonderful episodes in the beginning where Lana is playing games with Clark's heart and Chloe never gets to have the thing that she loves most.
Four friends on a mission: Daniel, Nicole, Brad, and Kim. Talking Smallville every week. The podcast a gem. Smallville nights we laugh out loud. Every week they make us proud. Daniel, Nicole, Brad, and Kim. In the world we find our thrill. Heroes fly and legends grow. Stories shared, they make it flow. From Clark Kent to Lex's schemes, they uncover every dream. Smallville nights we laugh out loud. Every week they make us proud. Daniel, Nicole, Brad, and Kim. In the world we find our thrill. He watching tales of old. Their voices pure gold. Every twist, every turn. With them there's much to learn. Smallville nights we laugh out loud. Every week they make us proud.